Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of the Basford United podcast, this time hosted by me, Jonny Drake. I've got Alex Wood as my co-host, and in the hot seat as our guests, Steve Chettle and Don Roma. We're going to discuss the coronavirus situation, pre-season, look at last season as well, the lads' careers, Steve Chettle at Nottingham Forest, and Don Roma's wealth of experience at Sheffield United and in non-league as well, and also his teaching as well at Barnsley that he does while not here. Alex, it's going to be a good one, isn't it?
It really is. The insight that these lads are going to be able to offer is next level, obviously, with Steve Chettle being the gaffer as well as being this experienced centre-back that everybody knows and it is on such a national level, and then Dom being such a down-to-earth guy as being this part-time professional footballer who has vast experience. You will not be able to find it anywhere else.
This is going to be a monthly podcast or so. We're going to recap everything that's happened in the last month. Let's get going. Steve Chettle. So, Steve, obviously you've had 1 year with Basford already. What's your overall summary of the first season, even though it doesn't count?
Good start. So, first year, obviously inherited a squad which had done well previous before with Gandhi and Cliffy and the boys who were managing it before. Went into the season, a bit of an unknown for myself, obviously not managed at this level with Basford before, and we started the season with a win after a really good pre-season, and then it was a little bit hit and miss for a month, winning, losing, roaring when we should have been winning, losing when we should have been drawing, and then we all came together around about Christmas time where we went undefeated for over a month, and I think we conceded 1 goal in a month. We were right in the playoffs up until the last week of the season, which was a tough week for us. We had 3 fixtures and we didn't win a game for the last week of the season. And then it all come to an end. The season was voided. All the hard work that we put in and all the prepping for the final push for that playoff place, it was really, really tough to catch South Shields. It all went out the window and we had to sit on our hands and wait like everybody else in the world to see what was going to happen. And we came back in June for our next pre-season, hoping to go again and try and complete the season.
Yeah, for me, so when obviously it was null and voided, what would have been your ideal situation? Obviously there were bigger decisions to be made, but what would have been your ideal result?
We were sat in the playoffs to leave with points per game, we still sat in the playoffs. And like most divisions, have gone through points per game and the playoffs happened and you potentially have a playoff final. But it was a very quick decision by the league. It's probably the
6 days, I think it was.
Hardest decision to make, to be fair, just to cancel everything, and it was a bit tough to take, especially the ones who were in the top of the division. The ones at the bottom, I think there was a big sigh of relief for some of those, but the ones at the top were really excited about the promotion push and the playoffs, but like I say, it wasn't to be, and we have to take on the chin.
Is that something that you can sit there and say that if a playoffs happened, yes, it's all hypothetical, it didn't actually happen, it got cancelled, null and voided, that you considered Basford United, the team, to be one of the strongest teams in the playoffs?
Well, we fancied ourselves against anybody in a one-off situation. Obviously we went to FC United earlier in the year and beat FC United. We lost at home to Nantwich, we beat Lancaster at home. We went to Warrington, we played on this Saturday, went away from home, got a point there. And our form was really good until the last week of the season. Like I say, when we struggled with the injuries, we lost some important people. We lost Matty, we lost Kane for 3 games, and it hit us a bit hard. So yeah, the final week wasn't fantastic, but the lead up right until that last week of the season, we were in a good position, and we fancied ourselves against anybody to go and get a win. I think as the points per game table stood, we'd have been away at FC United. So yeah, it would have been a great
tough
game.
One.
Yeah, it would have been tough. Yeah,
really good spectacle.
You've got to beat everybody to get promoted.
You're going to get into the National League North. You've got to go beat these teams, and it was really tough chasing South Shields last year. We got so close at one point, then their form picked up, and everybody else's form dipped, and then I think it was 12 points.
It was 12.
It was unfortunate for them that this happened, but like I say, we have to move on.
Yeah, like I say, points. We were 11 points behind earlier in the season, made it down to 2 points with a game in hand, stuff like that. It got really close.
To overtake them at one point.
Yeah, exactly.
We were.
It's what it is.
We were 1-0 up at half time, and then obviously that didn't happen. We didn't pick up all 3 points that one, but we weren't done on that. Obviously, then the summer happened, and there was a lot of ins and outs and going all crazy, which is possibly the maddest summer I think anybody's had in football over there. Personally, for you, there's so many different summers that you've had. Was it crazy and completely different for you?
It was some people didn't want to stay, in all honesty. Some people had things that they wanted to do. They've been at the club for quite a long time, and there's some people that I wanted to bring in, and I think it's always going to be inevitable that people leave at some point. The turnover of players at this level is massive, and it's not just at Basford United, it's all across the board. But no, there's people who are on my target list before that I brought in this season, and there's people that didn't want to stay for various reasons. So that's just the way the game is. Management's always going to be the same. Players hold all the aces really at some point, but the management have to try and decide what's best for the football club, and best for the budgets, and best for everybody else at the club.
Who were the ones that you wanted to bring in and did?
I brought James Clifton in. I spoke to Charlie Gatter earlier. I think all the boys that we went after, we got. We brought in more youngsters.
Talk about that later.
Even at the end of the game on last Saturday, we had two 19-year-olds playing. We had two 19s starting. We had a 16-year-old starting up front. And obviously my past history is in youth development and trying to get the best out of young players, and that's what we're still trying to do here with that experience of youth, with Steph, with Matty, with James Clifton now, and obviously Chet's at a ripe old age of 24 now, and he's played 2 years in the EFL. Ryan Wilson, Charlie Gatter's been around the block a few times. Lewis Carr's still an established part of this squad, and Lewis has been fantastic for us again pre-season, so these people are all invaluable.
Yeah, I think we calculated the last pre-season game we played, we calculated 8 or 7 of the 8 of the 20-man squad could have played for the under-21s.
Yeah.
So it has been a big change around from what we had
boys
last season.
County, I worked with the boys at Notts County, the 3 boys that got let go, Alex, Dunny and Betsy, great kids. They have no pathway in Notts County. We have probably a better pathway now with our under-21s after our 19s into our first team than Notts County, because they don't have their 23s anymore. They had a year at it, then they stopped it. They have to put all their eggs in one basket and try and get promotion again. But our pathway is good. We want to get these kids into the first team as quickly as we can, but we've got to be careful with them. They're 19 years old. They're here for 2 years. We're going to develop them as players and develop them as people, and then we'll go in there at the right times.
When you look at the squad now, and you look at the squad when you first came, it's going to be a really cliche type thing. Is it a Steve Chettle squad now?
It's more people I brought in, obviously.
Yeah.
Because the team before, they were all on contracts. I brought Chettle in the start as soon as I came in. And I think Andy was after him before I came in, to be fair, but he never materialised. I think he went to Matlock instead. The first year you inherit a group and you have to work with what you got, and it was a really good group. Don't get me wrong, it was a really good group. But like I say, for different reasons, people wanted to move on, and we had to do other things. So our business was done early. Marcus came in early, didn't play a game. Kyle came in early, didn't play a game before lockdown.
3 months or something.
We signed them before the deadline day to make sure that we were in a good place for the promotion push. And like I say, they didn't play a game of football till this pre-season, and Marcus was late doing that because he was injured. So it's been a long time for him.
Yeah. You mentioned your histories in youth development. That's Forest and County, isn't it? Both? I
joined Forest as an under-10s coach a long time ago, and worked my way up to under-23s. I didn't see myself having a pathway to the first team manager. Left, went to Notts County, became under-23s manager, became first team coach, and just worked with young pros. So when there was a group that needed to be taken of maybe 6 to 8 players who were all under 21, I took them, and it's something that I really enjoyed doing. And you see some great progression in people, not just as players but also as people, and that's what we're trying to do here, make these young men really good people to be around, be a great pillar of the community and represent Basford properly.
Was that always something you wanted to do?
It's how I was brought up, to be fair. I was brought up obviously under Brian Clough, and your first things first, you have to conduct yourself properly, and I think we're, as a club, growing. Like I say, the infrastructure of the club is a lot better and a lot stronger, and it's still growing. And obviously the planning redevelopment that the chairman's got here as well. The chairman's got a great eye for what this football club needs, because he's grown it from next to nothing. So we're all supporting him in that, and we've got to go along with the ride and make sure the right people come in, and we all work properly towards it.
I remember you did a Forest podcast a little while back, and I remember I watched that back, and you talked about going under Brian Clough, running through the nettles, stuff like that, things you can't put the academy through nowadays.
That time's moved on a little bit.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I was going to say things you can't do now. You can't do them now. Yeah. Well, at least not publicly anyway.
But the morals of being a person and how you conduct yourself on off the football pitch, they stand everybody in great stead. So there's something that you take with you right to the grave. Yeah.
Obviously. Great legacy from the man. As a player, you also in that podcast, something you don't hear many ex-players say, You don't miss playing at all?
Not at all.
No. I elaborate a little bit because I don't know whether it's just a PR answer.
No, I stopped. I chose to stop playing.
Yeah.
I was 36. I was at Warrington Town. We just got promotion into, I think it was the NPL in the version of the Evo stick or whatever it was then. Because I just struggled with a bad back. I never got through a season without getting injured, and just thought, right, I'm just going to stop playing and concentrate on my coaching. Longevity of me playing was another 6 months to 12 months. My longevity of coaching is, like I say,
still going.
You continue to, as long as you're mentally and physically capable of doing it. So no, I don't miss it. I miss being super fit. Don't get me wrong, and I've never really been away from a football environment. So even if you're coaching 16 to 18-year-old kids, you have to know what the 16 to 18-year-old kids are into all the time. But the problem you got is, Brendan Rodgers said this, that you keep tabs on what these kids are all around and what they're talking about and how they speak, but you're getting a year older every time. So I'm 52 next week, and these kids are 16, 17, and then we're saying, who's this so far taking us? But you have to try and keep with the kids, and you have to stay engaged with them all, and it's really, really important.
You show me a video of you heading the ball past.
No, I don't show me any videos. No, not at all.
Not Oliver Kahn. Heading the ball past Oliver Kahn.
No, I still try and kind of be cool, but without trying to be that uncomfortable, uncool.
A Steve Chettle TikTok account. Sorry, a Steve Chettle TikTok account.
No, I draw a line at Snapchat and TikTok.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough. Yeah, even I draw a line at TikTok. I'm only 20. So yeah, you're here maybe what 5-6 days a week now. The academy 4 or 5 times a week,
here,
and then
Monday, Tuesday. We train in education on Monday. We train in education on Tuesday, and training prep for Wednesday. Yesterday we had a great day. We had 3 teams play yesterday. All teams won yesterday.
Yes.
And every kid within the system played a game of football yesterday. Yeah. Which is perfect.
Some big wins as well. Not
like
1-0.
We had 3 teams yesterday. We played Worgan here in the morning, which is a team that Chettle took. They won 3-2. Yep. We played in the same time on the 3G where Josh took the black team. Chettle took the amber team. They won 9-1 against Ilkeston, and then we all went over to Long Eaton in the afternoon against Long Eaton United's 19s, who beat us twice last year, and the same team that played in the FA Youth Cup last week beat them 5-0.
There you go.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, FA Youth Cup game was it 7-0 against Alfreton? Was that the one?
7-1.
7-1. Sorry, yeah.
Next Thursday night we're here against Lutterworth in the next round. Yeah. And we're really excited about this group. You know, 8 of the group are first year scholars. There's only 3 second year starters of the team. And I think we worked out that 7 of the kids that came to us this season who played in the youth club team have been let go by professional clubs. Wow. It's a massive feather in our cap that we're getting that kind of player come to us because they see what we're trying to do here.
And obviously you've got players in that squad that are playing first team football, as you said really earlier.
Wade's been around football for a whole season with Eastwood last year when he was only just 16. Wade obviously played against Forest last week. Wade played yesterday. And he stay around the group, but we have to, like I said before, we have to keep our eye on these kids when we put them in. We can't just rely on these kids to get through the whole season. They'll be drip fed in, they'll be taken out, and the right time when we need to do this, we'll do that with them. But you know, we're really excited about the group, especially for the next couple of years. I'm
going to buy him a proper pair of shin pads as well. Like, there was a picture of him like celebrating his 3rd goal, and Craig, our head of media, took it, and his shin pads must have been disc sized. They're the smallest things in the world.
Yeah, those cricket pad days ago.
Half a plastic coffee
Doesn't
cup.
that scare you though? That like
I was the same. I didn't really like shin pads, and mine were just a pair of plastic flimsy things that just literally go down your tip.
They're there for the sake of calling the referee, almost for the sake of the referee's sake. Not calling, that's the wrong word, but just for the sake.
I think any shin pad, if you have such a bad impact injury, is not really. It'll probably help you a little bit, but it's not. It's not going to stop all damage, I'm afraid.
Fair enough.
It's going to be dark all this.
We'll move it on to pre-season. So your first pre-season that you organised, was it, or were you how much say did you have in last season?
I managed to do last pre-season.
Yeah, okay.
But we basically had 2 pre-seasons this year. We had one which we organised at the end of last season for the start of this season, which obviously got scrapped because we didn't have any start date or anything. So we're quickly getting around all the people that were supposed to have these games against and just trying to change the dates and the times.
Yeah. How does that go about then? How do you arrange a pre-season friendly?
Well, we know, especially the big clubs, we normally send invitations out in the new year. So I'll be planning for the next pre-season, probably January, February. So we sent out invitations to Notts County, to Nottingham Forest, to Sheffield United, to Leicester City, to try and if we could find an under-23s team. But they all had their own problems. They weren't allowed to train together. They were locked down. So still doing small group stuff when their season started. I think a week before as their season started, but they couldn't come back together because they're in separate sides to the first team.
Yeah.
And obviously we played Forest here in the County Cup, and it was a really good game, a really good night, and Andy and Chris, the coaches, and Gary Brazil, the academy manager, were really complimentary of how we're doing things. And we were desperate to get a game on here against them, and to get 600 people.
Yeah.
Was fine.
Sell out so quickly. What, 2 hours, 3 hours?
So hard to get this place COVID compliant. You know, we did it before. We had 300 against Alfreton, which was a big ask, and then within a week we had to get this place compliant for 600 people. You know, with the steward in and with the catering and making sure everybody, all the signage was correctly done. It was a big ask, and they were fantastic. Everybody involved with it all.
But it was great for the community.
It was brilliant. There's people who've come down here for the first time, Forest fans, who want to see some football, and it's not their first team, but it's Nottingham Forest. So, like we said before, if we can attract some of these people, they're not going to get to watch their team for I don't know. So, if we can get 50 Forest fans down here every week, or even when they go to away games and they can't get to those, they can't come down to watch Basford. Notts County fans, all local football team fans. Come down and watch Basford. It's a good atmosphere, it's a good standard, a great facility, they'll enjoy themselves.
So it's a great way, it was perfect time, because obviously with Basford, unlike some other teams at our level, we're on the way up. There's a few others, say Scarborough, have got fantastic histories, and they're in the same league, so because of us going, we'll have to rely almost on trying to market ourselves. Absolutely. More so than others do, and that was a great advert.
The club history has grown so fast, and I think 5 promotions in 7 years, it's grown so fast that this is as high as we've ever been at present.
It is, yeah.
So we are creating our own history, year on year out. And like I say, the accessibility of the local tram system, the bus system around here, it just drops you straight outside of the ground. So it's a fantastic place to come to.
That must be really good though, on a personal note, to single-handedly, well not single-handedly because you've got such a great thing. Obviously there's more people than me behind us. Yeah, there's a million people, single-handedly is the wrong word, but it must be so exciting to wake up every day and go into training, and as Johnny said, you're here 4 or 5 times a week, and knowing that you are one of the people that is going to be writing this club's recent history. And as you said, it's such a meteoric rise as well. And then to be involved in that, and this is what people are going to remember 10, 20 years down the line. That must be really, really thought-provoking and amazing. Really.
I enjoy my work. I enjoy promoting this football club, and I enjoy the work that goes into it. Like you said there, it's not just me. It's far from just me. The chairman is the main contributing factor to all of this, the stuff that he's done for the community and everything else. It's unbelievable, and we've got great coaching staff with Michael and Duff's, great physiotherapy with Cam, Graham, the goalkeeper coach, yourselves, the media people. The media's gone through the roof. I think before they had 8 person. I don't think they'd been dreaming of doing a podcast 3 or 4 years ago, or the coverage of
it was local press, a lot of press on the website.
We struggle to get stuff in the Evening Post at times, but now we're doing podcasts with the Evening Post. We're doing national interviews now. I've got one with the NPL magazine tomorrow as well. So, we're trying to push this football club as far as it will go. But we have to be careful that we do it in a proper manner, and we don't just try and smash ourselves through the roof. We've got to make sure it's constructed.
Be realistic.
Yeah.
It is still, a lot of people are going to see, step 3 of non-league. Is that Sunday league? The ref paid £10 on arrival. Stuff like people won't know how good it is.
Non-league now, there's a lot of players that have come up of full time. Will get paid as much as some clubs in this league than they would probably in League 2.
It's such a high level. People just don't assume it is though.
We've got a professional club in this league.
Yeah.
That in itself should be enough. When people say, "What's the standard?" We've got professional clubs in this league.
It's run like a professional football club. I've been at lots of professional football clubs, and some of the work that some of the people do here, without being disrespectful to other people, it's as good as, if not better, than you are in the professional league as well.
So pre-season, so we had most fair hunk of wins. We're playing teams that were on paper tiers below, and so we had Alfreton as well, and then Forest 23s, which played them twice recently. Both been great games. But what we just see a couple of things at the start not quite clicking. It's pre-season. What happens? Final game though, it just seemed to click, didn't it? And that was really exciting for the season.
We had to try things. The boys had 6 months off. Like I said before on media and on the internet and everything else, we've had loads of niggling injuries where we were discussing on Tuesday night with Michael and Rob and Wayne and Josh that are they due to the fact that we've had such a long layoff? Are they due to the fact that we've tried to push them too hard? Are they due to the fact that we've not worked hard enough? We just don't know. I think there's a lot of contributing factors to it, and the games programme was kind of tailored so it's not over exertion right at the beginning. So we couldn't have had Forest, Alfreton and Hensford at the start of pre-season because it would have been too much. So people have been very kind when they came to us. Your Kimberley one as well for your Gedling. We went to see Deeks at Long Eaton. They're games that we needed, and in some of the games, Telford admitted we were poor. And I think it was from the layoff and mentality that I've spoken about before that they didn't exert themselves properly mentally or physically. But like I say, from Alfreton at home, when we were unfortunate to lose with a penalty, Forest at home, went away to Hensford, our performances have been a lot better. We've got some personnel back. It's great to have Kane back. We lost Marcus early in the game again, so we're assessing Marcus. But just to get everybody back fit is a challenge amongst itself at the minute. Like I said, the last 3 games were our kind of A-class games, and we came out well in it.
Yeah. With that Kane injury, was that the same one you mentioned that happened right at the end of last season? So it lasted all the way through?
It lasted all the way through.
Wow,
He came back pre-season, did some work at the start of pre-season, still felt it, and we've had to nurse him back literally minute by minute. He's been itching to go for probably a month, and we've had to limit his time to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, a half an hour. And I think he's now getting a little bit ratty because he thinks he's ready to start games. But again, we've got to be careful.
But when he comes on, especially on Saturday against Hensford, he was class.
He was unbelievable.
He was
great last season.
He was brilliant.
I think his assistant goal tally was the highest at the club last year. I think he scored 11 goals, he got 10 assists. But he's infectious. The kid is just a bundle of energy.
It brings so much.
He's a grumpy git, by the way. He's such a grumpy git. I thought I was grumpy, but Kane tops me.
Does he?
Yeah, by a mile.
But he makes other players match his energy.
Absolutely.
And that's what you really want out in terms of leadership and in terms of everything like that. Because obviously with such a young core of the squad, as soon as they see one player putting in more, they turn around to themselves, give him a nudge and go, he's the person that's there.
We need our kind of senior players. I think Kane's only 25. We need our senior players
at this point,
to lead by example. And Kane is one of those. He's 100% effort, 100% energy, and like I say, his return last year was fantastic.
Yeah, and then we'll wrap up a little bit. So finally now, start of the season, a few days away. Tough fixture, tough start as well.
Yeah.
But we'll start with Warrington. I guess final training session to see how it goes.
Yeah,
but
we did some. All the stuff's been sent out to the group about Warrington. We went to watch them last week, so all the information was sent to the boys in their own group, so we know what they're about. We know now what our roles and responsibilities are, and we look forward to the start. It's a tough start. Like I say, we got Warrington, then we go Chase Town on the Tuesday night. Then we go to Lancaster,
FA Cup.
Before that, Matlock, a local derby. So it's a tough start, but you've got to play at some point.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, when you have a tough start like this, the boys must really be itching for it as well, because
competitive football.
It's competitive. That's what it is. It's competitive.
We need to get ourselves a good start. We did last year. We went away from home. We won at Hyde last year. It makes everybody feel better, and it calms everybody down a little bit when you win away from home. We need to get a result on Saturday, and we need to get through the FA Cup hopefully on the Tuesday. And then we take it from there, little chunks, bit by bit.
Yeah, FA Cup historically has been a tough one. I think the chairman said, last season we haven't won an FA Cup game in about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
So, but it's the FA Cup, isn't it? Anything can happen, but it'd be really nice to get something going. Yeah. Well, you got any more?
Right, I suppose the last thing could be is just season aims this year.
Well, we need to continue from where we were. We're like I say, we're in a good position, and being in the playoffs is progression from the 2 seasons ago, not last season, because obviously that was a completed season. But if we can be around the playoffs and still try and chase your South Shields and your Warringtons and your Lancasters,
Buxton as well this year, going to be a very strong team.
Yeah, a really strong team. Made some really big signings. We've just got to try and chase the leaders, and if it means that at some point we can be at the top of the league, I'll be delighted. So we just got to do as much as we can, be as good as we can for as many long periods as we can, and see where it gets us.
Fantastic.
Thanks, Jess.
No problem.
Thanks. Cheers.
Cheers, fellas.
Go.
Alright, Dom Roma joins us now, and how have you found pre-season? We'll start off with that.
It's been good. It's been long. Obviously, it's been the longest pre-season that any of the lads have ever done. I think the gaffer's been good in terms of blocks of work that we've done. We've had time off as well. We had a little break in between pre-season, which was good. And then obviously we come back and found out that the league was starting on the date that it is, and we've been gearing towards that. But no, they don't get any easier. You just have to just get through them.
That's it. We had a chat over lockdown. You did a lot of cycling, kept yourself fit. Craig, head of media, was very, very impressed with the amounts you were getting done. I'm sure he's told you, but keep yourself going.
Obviously, like when you get a little bit older, I don't want to do as much road running or running as what the lads might do. So I tend to get out on the bike when I can, and it kind of clears my head as well from work and kids and stuff like that. So it's been all right. You just kind of have to adjust when you get a little bit older.
It's one of them things though, when you're doing the road running, you're doing the cycling, nothing is better than being on a football pitch and running on there or doing anything like that.
Yeah, no, you can't. You can never replicate what you're going to do in a game off the pitch. Even when you're running, or you might, I know some lads go off and do like bits of work with PTs and stuff that involve football work, but you can never really replicate that intensity that you get in a match, and even in training as well, because you're around the lads as well, so the intensity picks up. We'll notice as well the intensity will pick up even more on Saturday because it's the first game, and they're always frantic, and it will be different from pre-season. Pre-season, it does prepare you as best as it can, but you can't beat a real league game for intensity and things like that. So you can't beat match play.
What a tough game to start off as well, though. Warrington is going to be up there at the end of the season as well. But I guess you've got to play them at some point.
It'll be a tough game, and I don't think there's going to be any easy games. Never is in this league. We saw last year any team can beat any team really. Even the teams that were down the bottom before lockdown, obviously you go and you have tough games against them. But if ever there's a time to play them, it might be first game, but like you say, you have to play them either way, so just get it out of the way and chalk it off.
Just don't overthink it, I guess.
It must be a bonus that it's at home though.
It is, I mean, first, I think we played away at Hyde, last year, first game. Get them at home first, and obviously I don't know if they've been training on the 3G or anything like that. They might have been training on grass all summer and have played all their pre-season games on grass. So it might be a good time to play them at home first game. But it's one of them. Like, I've been involved in it long enough now to know that whatever happens first game in the season don't have an outcome on the rest of the season really. I've had seasons where we've not won the first 5 games and ended up in playoff finals, and in seasons where we've won first few games and kind of finished mid-table. So it's just getting the first one out of the way really, and hopefully we can have a positive result, but it's one of them games where you've just got to get through it first game.
So you're a lot of young players now. You're one of the experienced ones leading the way now. You've got a great career behind you. Sheffield United, Gainsborough, Scarborough, Harrogate, Alfreton as well. Like a load.
Boston as well.
Lots of experience. Do you get the lads ask about that sort of stuff, or is it more just you're playing, you're just teammates? It's more social than your history in football.
It's more social. I think a lot of the lads, I don't know if they're, might be somebody to look up to in terms of I'm still going at this level. I'm 35 in a couple of months. I try and say to the younger lads, like, you've always got to look to try and play as high as you can. Like, don't treat your football as something that's, it's a little bit of a side thing that I do. Like, I've always tried it quite serious, because I've always wanted to play at the highest level that I could. Obviously I had, like I say, Sheffield United, Boston when they were at league, probably 10, 12 years conference north, and then I come here obviously when we was in the league below. So I mean, they probably just see me as the old man. I remind them that I still cover the same distance as them and things like that. So
can't let get too cocky.
No.
You tackle us hard, you can really feel that.
I still remind them that football's about working hard. It's the easiest thing to do as well on a pitch, is to run about and work hard. That's the easiest thing to do. I've had games where it's not gone for me on ball, which it's going to. Every player has that. You've just got to show that you're willing to keep getting on it and keep working hard for your team. And you know, whether that stood me in good stead for last God knows how many years or what, I don't know. But yeah, I think they probably just see me as old man.
Do you think that's something that the young players have really got in their system? Because obviously me and Johnny have watched every pre-season game, and that's something that we see, is that every single lad will fight for this ball, they'll die for the team, and their teamwork is really in there, and the chemistry as well.
Yeah, you don't do anything unless you've got a good team and a good team ethic. You're not gonna get promoted if you've not got them basics of working hard, being disciplined, wanting to give that extra for your teammates, wanting to go that extra mile in terms of wanting to outrun your opponent, wanting to beat him to the first ball, first header, things like that. You're never going to do anything unless you've got that. And it is good to see that we've got younger lads that will do that as well. Every now and then they are going to need a bit of a kick up backside or a little bit of a pick me up, which as long as it's done in the right way, then and the lads can learn from the information that you're giving them, as opposed to just shouting rubbish. I don't think I'm one of them older players that just shouts a load of rubbish just for the sake of shouting. So it's important that you have that, and the younger lads have been brilliant, to be fair. So I mean, we've got quite a young squad, but I look at it and there's quite a few lads that if they knuckle down and kick on, they could play a lot higher than what they are now.
And I guess that's your work in football as well. You work at Barnsley.
Yeah.
Is that with the academy? Is it the coaching or teaching side?
No,
of it?
I'm head of education for the academy.
Okay, that was
yeah. So
teaching side. Yeah.
I kind of I see that in that side of the game as well. Like obviously, I know what the dropout rate is in terms of my job. I know that there's a high percentage of professional footballers in terms of scholars and things like that aren't even playing a game when they're 21. So I get all these stats and things with my job. So I kind of, it's easy for me maybe to relate to the younger lads because of what I do in work, and obviously my teaching background as well. I've taught in a lot of secondary school.
What do you teach?
PE.
Was it PE? Probably should have guessed it, in fairness, I guess.
Yeah, PE, and then I was a head of year at a school in Derby for a year before working at Barnsley. Yeah, so.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, I've kind of got that background, so maybe they relate to me because I can put things across in a different way, or I don't know.
And then obviously with what you said, we just spoke to Chettle and the academy lads that are here. He said that every single one of them got a game yesterday. Yes. Every single one of the lads that are part of the academy get up, they all played football yesterday. That is something that it puts a genuine smile on your face, like it's there. That's what you want, and that's what you're saying. Will that increase like their momentum throughout like an education standpoint as well?
I think as long as they knuckle down in terms of their education, then there's always the option of. I mean, I always said to the lads at Barnsley, football's not the be all and end all. I'll refer back to myself as that I'm living proof of that. At one stage I was getting called up for England, 18s, 90s, 20s, things like that. Thought I was going to go on and have a great career, and it didn't work out for me.
Is that just luck kind of thing? Just not one of those things, or was it injuries or anything like that?
Look, probably a couple of bad decisions on my part in terms of I'd probably say attitude when I was 18.
Really?
Yeah. And then when you get a little bit older, you realise, and obviously I went down the teaching route, and I tried to use myself as an example to the lads at work that you can go and have a career away from football and still play football. I mentioned it to a couple of lads here as well in our first team about having a dual career. It's important. You can't, not just to see yourself as a footballer, you've got to be more than that for me. I don't refer to myself as a footballer. When anybody asks me what I do, I'm a teacher, and if they mention football, it's like, well, yeah, I play semi-professional football, but my career is a teacher. And I think that's important, and like I say, make reference to it with the lads at Barnsley, make reference to it with the young lads down here, and Chettle will be doing that. I know he will, and I know Josh will be as well with the academy lads. That it's important that you get your education as well alongside your football. And I mean, let's be right, this is probably the best setup in terms of youth setup around this level and probably above. Obviously you've got your Notts Forest and things like that, but in terms of non-league, how many lads are going to get the opportunity to come and play in these facilities, get their education taught in decent classrooms? We've got pitches that are ours as a club as well. There's a lot of league football clubs that wouldn't have this setup.
And a guy like Steve Chettle's head it all up. It's a great name, especially for the area.
For the area, like.
It's a great.
The gaffer's like his career was unbelievable. Like, you know, you look at it, and whenever somebody said, "Oh, who's your gaffer at Basford?" It's like, "Oh, Steve Chettle." Oh, Steve Chettle who were at Forest. Like, it's like, like his career was unbelievable, and anybody that's done that, like in terms of football and things, you've got to take your hat off, because that level of football is so hard to get to. So, like, obviously the gaffer's been there and done it, played in like European Cups and things like that.
We mentioned that.
It's unbelievable what he's done, and like his mannerisms and how he is around the building are second to none for me. I've played for a lot of managers that would be so high after a win and so low after a loss, like that you can almost tell that training's either going to be horrendous or something like that night after a loss. But like the gaffer, I've picked up so much from him in terms of like just how level he is, whether it's a win or a loss, and never really changes how he is with the lads, which is good for me, because your lads pick up on body language and things like that, and the gaffer's spot on with stuff like that.
Yeah, I can imagine it. Young lads coming through in Nottingham, maybe talking about it might be a bit before their time, I guess. Don't let him. I hope he doesn't listen back to this. But yeah, there's a little bit. There you go. Yeah, that's for a young lad coming in. You say, that's it. He's third highest points maker for Nottingham Forest, and most of the lads probably support and stuff like that. It must be great for them. But
it should be.
It is.
We're better to learn off. Do you know what I mean? It's like a career that he's had.
If there's someone that's been there, done that, got the t-shirt and got the trophy cabinet at home, there's nothing else better than you can really do. There really isn't.
Yeah, anyone that's had that career, you've got to take your hat off to him, and obviously I'm fortunate enough to play for him now as well, which is good.
So,
okay. Well, he talks about want to be winning. Going back to sort of looking ahead to the season, I guess. You sort of would be just winning every game, playing what you're doing, what you can. What are your personal aims, and then for the team as well, going into the season?
Personally, I want to play as many games as I can again this season. I think last season, obviously in my spell on loan,
I think it was 22 off the top of my head you played here.
I think last season I touched over 30 games again, including my loan spell. Obviously the season got cut short, so I would hope that I'd have touched 40 games again. I want to play as many games as I can this season. The gaffer's been good with me in terms of like recognising when I might need to just lay off it in terms of loading training. We have the GPS vest, which is good, and because you can monitor all that. And obviously I want to get promoted. There's no point in being in something if you're not going to try and do something with it. You're going to lose games. That's part of it. I think accepting that you are going to lose games is better than thinking you're going to go in and smash the league, because how many teams are going to do that? Like even your top teams are going to lose games of football. So accepting that you're going to lose games and then moving on quickly from it is I think the right way to go down it. But I want to get promoted and play as many games as I can.
We've spoken to everybody, obviously me and Jonny have, and we've spoken to you before. I've never heard anyone say that ever in their life. That it's so honest. It is. You are going to lose a game of football. You're not going to go unbeaten. You are. But the openness to just accept that and move on and do that must really help in terms of preparation for the next week and for the overall season as well. Because yes, it sucks you lost. Like say you go on and lose 3 on the bounce. Yeah, you're generally feeling bad, but. Or in the overall season, as you said, when you start the beginning games of the season, it doesn't matter.
No,
you lose 3 games a season. That's fine.
Yeah, you are going to lose games of football. It's inevitable. Like it's even if it's a refereeing decision, anything like that, you're going to lose games. And if we go into it with a mindset that we want to win every game, but accepting that you are going to lose, I don't think that's a bad thing in terms of, like a negative or anything like that. It's just part of the game, and if you can move on from it as quick as you can, even in games where we might go one down, you accept it, it's gone, right, can we pick up intensity now for the next 15 minutes? Even if we go a goal in front, right, that's gone now, can we pick up that intensity again for the next 15 minutes? Like, you've got to play it in stages, and it's the same in the season. Like, you've got to play it in different stages. The games at the start of the season are going to be different to the games at Christmas. The games at Christmas are going to be different to the games at the end of the season, in just because of weather conditions, pitches, injuries, fatigue, things like that. There's so many variables in football that you can't account for a lot of them. You can only account for what you can affect, and you can't affect what happens when you lose a game. You can try and affect it in the pitch, but when you lose a game, you can't really affect it, but you can affect what happens after it in terms of, right, that's gone, where did we go wrong, right, now we need to move forward.
Yeah, it's a hugely important mentality to have. I think given the time, so we're going to have to cut over. That's fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us, Dom. It's been really interesting to hear.
Cheers for that, lads.
Fantastic stuff. Our thanks to Steve Chettle and Don Munroe for joining us this evening. You'll be hearing this on Friday the 18th of September, just ahead of our game against Warrington on Saturday. Great stuff hearing about how pre-season worked out from Chet, what the two pre-seasons, the one we almost had, didn't have, and then the one we actually did end up playing. Then we competitive football coming back. Like we mentioned, Saturday the league is back, and hopefully back with a bang, Alex. It's going to be good.
It really is, and again, just sitting here and being able to talk at length with Steve Chettle and Don Roma, it is such a joy, because we normally get them for 2-3 minutes after a game, after they've just really done it. They want to get in a shower and go home. They don't want to do it. So to have that insight about what they've both said it's truly special. It really is. It's different from anything that we've done for this club before.
Definitely. And then Dom talking about the lessons for the academy. There's so much to learn from them, and how to handle losses in football. Really great insight into just how professional, semi-professional, or just how football in general should think. The next one of this, the next podcast, will be released on Friday the 16th of October. In theory, it should be coming out the third Friday of every month, which means we'll be recapping the first 5 games: Warrington at home, Lancaster away, Matlock away, Hyde United at home, and Radcliffe away.
Including some FA Cup games.
And the FA Cup, of course, FA Cup Tuesday night, Chase Town. Let's hope for a better run than we've had in previous years.
Of course, so everybody loves the FA Cup. We'd love an FA Cup run, of course. So until then,
I shall be back on Saturday doing commentary with our co-worker James Ridge as my co-commentator, and that's going to get you underway for the season. Warrington, if you're not coming down, obviously please do come down. It's going to be a great game. 2 very, very good sides in the league who are definitely going to be fighting for it at the end of the season. Should be a great lot of fun. If you can't make it, tune into the commentary on MixLR. Link we post out on Twitter. But until then, have a great day.
Yeah. See you soon, guys.